So welcome back to my garage. This is Gamer Dom. I'm on the test server at the moment, but I'm looking to do a slightly different video for you than ones I normally do, and this is probably targeted at the less experienced players out there in the community. And I was talking to somebody in my new clan, which is part of the Havoc community, and the beauty of the Havoc community is there's a real heavy emphasis on training and improving players. So you have a real mixed bag of abilities. You have some very, very good players, and you have some fairly new players who are still learning how to do things. And you know, it's interesting when you bump into players who aren't as experienced as you are. You realise that you know a lot of things that you sort of take for granted, that you've learnt over the years. I've got 24,000 games under my belt, so to speak, and it means I've picked up a lot of things that I kind of take for granted and a newer player doesn't necessarily know. So I thought, well, let's do a couple of videos that take newer players through some of this stuff. So, you know, for the old hands out there, bear with me, you know, go and watch something else, but for the newer players, hopefully you can learn something. And if there's anything else you want me to cover off in other videos, just, you know, let me know and I'll see what I can do. So I'm never claiming to be the world's biggest expert. There's lots of very good players out there, but hopefully you can learn a few things from me. So first thing up today, I thought I'd do something fairly simple, it would seem, but how do you buy and equip a new vehicle? And I just thought it's interesting, you know, whether or not people really understand exactly what it is and how you do that, and the different steps you take. So I'm on the test server because it went up this morning, and I thought I'd have a quick look at some of the new mechanics, and it means I can do things on here without touching my own experience and gold back on my main account. So it also allows me, one of the beauties of the test server is you can try out a few vehicles. So I'm on the live server. I'm about to upgrade this thing, the SP1C, to well, be one of two tanks. It will be either the RU251 or the Indian Panzer. I'm leaning towards the 251, but you know, this tank is a tier 7 German light tank, but really the same principle applies in pretty much any vehicle you're buying, so don't worry about the fact this is a higher tier vehicle. So how to do it? First things first, you click on the research. You have to have worked your way through the various modules that then unlock the next vehicles. So in the case of this, the Spic, you have to have upgraded the turret and gone through these two upgraded guns before it unlocks the next stage. Obviously you don't have to actually buy them, like here I haven't bought this gun, you just have to have unlocked it with experience. Okay, so you know, and again, you don't have to do all the modules before you move on. You can just do the basic ones. The only time when you might need to do a module is, for instance, the tracks, because the tracks have a load capacity. See, this one has 10.9, this one has 9.33. So you may, often actually, if I'm honest, you have to upgrade the tracks to enable you to have the weight carrying capacity to put on things like bigger guns, bigger turrets, bigger radios, bigger engines, etc. So, but in terms of moving on through the stream, through the different vehicles, you don't have to unlock all these other modules. It's only the ones on the line that lead on to the next one. So you can see here on the Spic, this actually is a mirror of my real account. These two tanks, the Indian Panzer and the RU251, are both green, which symbolises that I have enough XP experience to unlock them and therefore buy them if I have the money for them. Now you notice that the RU251 requires 92,700 experience. Over here you can see on the Spic I have currently 66,860 experience available, which means there's a shortfall. However, and this is where those of you're probably aware by now, there are different versions of experience. You have experience that goes onto the tank itself until it is an elite vehicle. and elite means you've unlocked everything here, and both of the ones that you move on to. So experience sits on this tank, in this case 66,860. You also have experience that goes onto the crew, and you also have what they call free experience, which is up here. You can see I'm on the test server. You get a ridiculous amount of free XP to use to yourself, but you'll notice that on your main account you'll see XP slowly increasing, and if you use premium vehicles you'll get more free XP. And the beauty of free XP is exactly what it says. You can use it any way you like. So I can take some of this 100 million XP and put it with the 66,000 I've got here to allow me to buy this RU251. So that's exactly what I'll do. So I click on this. It says you can buy the RU251 for 92,700, including 25,840, and it's got the bright star, which means free XP, which is this stuff up here. So I'm going to go yes, and you can see I've now got nothing on the vehicle, stick vehicle itself. My free XP has dropped down. So we have now unlocked but not bought the RU251. And you can see we also haven't elited this spic yet. To elite the spic we would have to also unlock the Indian Panzer. In fact, let's do that just because we've got all the free XP. So if we do that, so I'm using only free XP here. Now you can see that I've got elite status on the spic. So that means all XP, no XP is left on this vehicle now. It will only go to training the crew and onto free XP when I play this tank, assuming I keep it. So anyway, we've now unlocked both the Indian Panzer and the RU251. The RU251, which is one I'm really interested in trying, it cost me 2.44 million credits. It's a tier 8 German light tank. Again, on the test server you're given huge amounts of gold to go and buy pretty much what you like, so money is no object, so we will purchase this tank. So when we buy it, this is what comes up. You have an option, or several options here. You can purchase a garage slot to go to basically put this tank in, and you need to have a garage slot available. It will cost you 300 gold. Now from time to time they do sell garage slots for half price, and my recommendation, if you are somebody who spends a little bit of money on this game, is to buy 2 or 3 slots when they're at half price, because they'll cost you 150 gold, which is not too much at all. So in my case I've already got a whole load of free slots. I cleared out a few tanks that I never use, and of course if you're selling the previous tank, or you're selling a tank in your line, you'll have a free slot to put it in. So I don't need to tick that box because I've already got the slots I need. The other option is to load standard ammunition. Now that means basically the tank is automatically comes with shells already in the gun and ready to go, or in the storage units. Again, I don't tend to do that because I prefer to set up my own ammo count the way I want it. Now next thing is, the important thing is around the crew. You have again several choices here depending on how you play the game. If you're somebody that spends a bit of money, then it's possible this top option here, Tank Academy, is for you. It means that your crew, the new crew that come in this tank, is already trained to 100%. So they are maximum efficiency tank crew. They haven't got any special perks yet, but they are at 100%. But it will cost you basically 200 gold per crew member. There's 4 crew in this tank, so 800. Even I can do that maths. Second option costs you 80,000 credits, and this is standard, by the way. It doesn't matter whether this is a tier 1 or a tier 2 it would be, because you've already got the ones. A tier 2 tank up to a tier 10 tank, the amount remains the same. It's based on the number of crew. So in this case, to get a 75% crew would cost 80,000 credits, because again there's 4 of them, it costs 20,000 each. If you spend no money at all on this game and you have very little credits, very few credits, then rapid courses is the option, but you only get 50% crew with this, but it costs nothing at all. So in my case, I'm going to click this box here, which is purchase without crew, because I have plenty of crew to put in this vehicle. So, and in fact I will probably take the crew from the spic to put in here. So purchase without crew, and that gives me my total amount of gold, or how many credits it will cost me, which is just the basic 2,400,000. Often you'll find that Wargaming, well, often, every so often Wargaming will do a discount on buying new tanks, and they'll sometimes do 50% off the cost of credits for tiers up to tier 6, for instance, or sometimes they'll do 30% off tier 8s. So it's worth looking out for that. If you don't have many credits, it's a good idea to hold on and wait for when they are doing a special offer. And if you watch the website, or if you sign up for their notifications, or watch Facebook or Twitter or what have you, they're pretty regular about telling you when these things are, and you get a few days notice. It's generally over a weekend where they come in, or special festive periods. So Christmas just gone, they just had a whole load of discounts on tanks. So I saved up a lot of credits and bought a heck of a lot of tanks, because they were all either half price, 30% off, or 15% off, depending on the tier of tanks. So anyway, so we're going to click purchase. There we go. Let's have a look at him in the garage. There it is. Pretty looking tank. So we'll go back to the tech tree. So it obviously comes as a stock vehicle, which basically means it has the basic equipment that this vehicle comes with. So in this case, there is only one gun on this tank, so you get that. You get there's only one turret on this vehicle, so you get that. You get the tier 9 radio. You get the tier 7 engine, which is very low, and you get the tier 7 tracks. Obviously, you then also have the options to upgrade as and when you've got it. So again, same process as buying the tank. You can either use the free XP here, or you can play a few games, get some credits on the tank, and use that to buy these extra modules. So again, I'm just for the sake of the video, I'm going to buy all these because I have the free XP. So I buy the tracks, 32,000, and I purchase those. I'm going to unlock the next engine, and you notice I'm not going to buy this engine because I'm also going to unlock this one, and then I'm going to buy that engine. And you'll notice that by doing that engine, I've now unlocked the Leopard PT8 as well. Just for completeness, I'll buy the top radio, and I'll purchase that. So this is the beauty of the test server, because you've got so many credits and so many free XP. I can go from having a brand new tank to having it fully upgraded. So there we go. That is the fully upgraded RU251. A couple of other things we need to do on this before we can take it out, obviously. First up, we need to load some ammunition, and if you've taken that ammunition, automatic load ammunition at the beginning, it would have come basically already with this loadout: 33 rounds of AP, 9 rounds of HE. However, I'm going to modify that because I'm a gold spamming bitch, and I am going to put some gold on this thing. I'm going to put 7 rounds on. I'm going to pay for it you can pay for these extra special rounds either with credits or with gold. Obviously gold is actual money, so I'm buying that, which puts 28,000 credits. That just shows the difference. 28,000 credits to buy those heat rounds for 7 of them, whereas 26 of the standard AP only costs 8,000. So you can see if you start firing gold, it can be very expensive. I'm also going to put some consumables on, and again, forgive me if you already worked this one out, but This is a huge asset to a tank. So you have a number of options in here. You can put in the large repair kit, which obviously repairs things like tracks, broken guns, broken engines, etc., etc. You have first aid kits, which does the same for the crew. So if a crew gets knocked out, injured, killed, that will put them back into operation. You have the fire extinguisher, which again, self-explanatory. You have two versions of fire extinguisher. You have the automatic one, which basically the moment you have a fire, well, a few seconds after you've had a fire will automatically put the fire out, but it's more expensive. Or you have manuals where you have to click the appropriate button on your keyboard to manually turn the fire off. You also have two versions of the large and small, two versions of the repair kit, a large and a small version. The large version of the repair kit and the first aid kit costs a lot more, 20,000 credits, or 50,000, or 50,000, or 50 gold. But the beauty of those is that they will fix everything. So if you're, for instance, if you get hit by artillery, for instance, and it knocks out your gun, your engine, and your track, so 3 different modules, if you happen to have a large repair kit, you click that and it will repair all 3. If you only have the small repair kit, whoops, where's it gone? Small repair kit, it will only allow you to do 1. So in that case, if those 3 modules were knocked out, I'd have to choose which one I went for. But the bonus of those is they cost only 3,000. Same with the large repair kits, large first aid kits, and the small first aid kits. If you lose 1 member of crew, then the small kit is fine. You can use that and repair him. If you lose 2, then the large, or 2, 3, 4. Well, you couldn't lose 4 because the crew would have, there'd be no crew left. But if you lost 3, say in this vehicle, you could fix them all with 1 large repair kit. The other bonus of the large kits is that they give a 10% improvement on repairing modules. So if say you get your tracks shot off, they will be repaired by the crew, and if you've got a large repair kit, it will speed up that repair by 10%. In the case of large first aid kits, it will add 15% chance, or reduce the chance of crew being hurt by 15% if you've got one of those on board. The other options are these special consumables, which you can also purchase. Chocolate is one. Each nation has its own version of these. For Germans it's chocolate, for Americans it's Coca-Cola, and you'll see them all as you go through the different tanks. What they all do exactly the same thing. They all cost exactly the same amount. They cost 20,000 credits, or 50 gold. But what they do is they add 10% to the crew's skills and perks. So you will often find a lot of the better players who've got very good crews in their tanks at the top levels will take this, because 10% extra to your loading time, to your aiming time, is all really good stuff. So, however, I haven't played this tank before, so I'm going to go for a fairly standard switch out setup for me. I'm going to go for small repair kit, I'm going to go for small first aid kit, and I'm going to go for automatic fire extinguisher. I'm also going to click automatic resupply. So that's really important. So at the end of a game, if you've used any of this equipment, or shot, whatever shots you've done, it will automatically re-equip the vehicle as you've got it here. And that's kind of important if you are. I should change that over. There you go. Forget to do that. The reason why it's important is obviously if you're playing a game and you forget to manually replace all this stuff, you could then go into a game and find that you've only got half your ammunition on board, or you haven't got a fire extinguisher, and sod's law is that's when you get a fire. So we've got automatic repair clicked, we've got automatic ammunition resupply clicked, and we've got consumables loaded and resupply, automatic resupply loaded. So there we go. So that's that. And we'll click OK. So we've still got a little way to go before we're ready to take this out. Other options you have here, well, probably the most important thing is around equipment. Now down here you'll see you have 3 slots, which allows you to put extra equipment onto these vehicles to make them slightly more efficient. Now there are all sorts of options. Let me bring them up. You have, and it will vary dependent on the vehicle you've got selected. So with this RU251, I have the option of vertical stabilizer, which adds 20% to my accuracy when you're moving or you're traversing the turret. So a really good option if you've got a fast moving medium tank who's likely to fire on the move, or you've got a gun that's you're likely to be sniping with, where you quickly need to traverse the turret and fire. It helps you to reacquire the target and get full lock on much quicker. Toolbox, which helps the repair time of everything on board, so if you get your tracks shot off, if you've got a toolbox loaded on, it'll speed up the repairs by 25%, which again is, in some tanks, it's a really useful thing. CO2, it basically stops you having, or it reduces the risk of your fuel tank being punctured by 50%, and therefore reduces the chances of a fire. Enhanced gun lane drive helps with your accuracy and your aiming time, so basically adds 10% speed to aiming time. Coated optics adds 10% to your viewing range, so this tank has 400 viewing range. If I put coated optics on, I'd have 440. Binos, they add 20%, but only if you're stationary. So coated optics work all the time, binos when you're stationary. Gun rammer adds 10% to your loading time, and most tanks will have gun rammer loaded because it's all about firing the gun at the end of the day. It's a war game. So 10% loading time. Torsion bars, this is particularly useful if you have bought a new tank and you can't afford to upgrade the tracks yet. You haven't got the experience or the gold or the credits to do that. However, you want to, you've unlocked a bigger gun, for instance. You can fit this as a temporary measure on your vehicle, and it will give you extra load capacity. It will probably give you enough load to allow you to put those extra equipment on without buying the tracks. However, it uses up one of your slots. Another useful one is this wet ammo rack. Very useful for tanks that take a lot of ammo, so ammo rack damage, and you've seen this in games where you fire at a tank or you're fired at and the entire tank is obliterated in one shot, and generally that's because the ammo rack has been hit and has exploded, and it's a terminal thing for the vehicle, blows it apart. There are some vehicles that are very susceptible to it. The French premium tank, the CDC, I think is made of ammo racks. It feels like every time you shot you get ammo racked. So not only does it often cause the vehicle to blow up, it will also knock out the ammo rack, which drastically reduces your rate of fire. So by taking a wet ammo rack, you can reduce the chance of being ammo racked by 50%. So on some vehicles that's a really useful tool to have. Camo nets is exactly what you'd expect. It reduces that detection chance when you're stationary. So very useful for passive scouts, TDs, artillery, I guess, if you think so. Light spall liners, again, this is a sort of it's an extra protection for your vehicle. It's like a lining around the vehicle. It reduces the chance of damage to your crews and also to your tank by 20% if you're hit by another tank that was ramming you or through explosions. So tends to be useful for big slow moving things like TOGs or some of the Japanese heavy tanks that are very, very big tend to be artillery magnets, but other tanks can make use of it. It's available. The The other interesting one you see a lot of people use and swear by is improved ventilations. This is a class 1. It adds 5% to your crew skills. So you can see if I had loaded chocolate and I had improved ventilations, I get 10% extra crew skill with the chocolate, 5% with my crew skills, 15% total if I had that equipped. So the big question is, what do you take? And you know, this isn't easy, and it's a lot of it's personal preference, and also down to gold, because how much credits you've got. Because you can see some of these things are really expensive. So a vertical stabilizer is 500,000 credits. Coated optics, 500,000 credits. Gun rammer is 200,000. And you can see these ones here where it's got a V depot sign means I've already got them in the depot. So I could have basically take them out of my depot and put them on this tank. Wouldn't cost me anything. The other thing to note about some of these, toolbox, binos, camo net are removable for free. So if you put them on, you can take them off. It doesn't cost you anything. Everything else, so verticals, CO2, gun lane drive, blah blah blah, they are almost permanently attached to this vehicle when you put them on them. That means if you sell the vehicle or get rid of it, you will have two choices. You have to either take them off the tank, which will cost you 10 gold each piece of equipment that you want to remove, or you sell them on the tank and they go for good, and you only get half the value that they were worth. The other thing to say about this sort of equipment is every so often Wargaming will have a sale, and it's a fairly regular thing actually. They'll do half price off equipment. And it is well worth buying some of the more common equipment that you think you're going to use, because you know you can pick up, well, let's say gun rammers, medium gun rammers cost 200,000 credits at full price. You could buy 2 in the sale for the same price, and you can keep them in your store and use them when you need them. Same with the vertical stabilizers. That's 500,000 credits. You could get 2, you know, the half price in the sale, so you get 2 for that price. So that's another thing to watch out for us when they're doing the sale. So I was going back to where, you know, what you need to do and what equipment you should put on. Now the best thing to do with this is look at the stats of your tank. So this thing is reasonable rate of fire. Let's bring the gun up. Reasonable rate of fire, dispersion's pretty good, aim time's pretty good, so I wouldn't necessarily say that needs particularly important to have any kind of gun lane drives or anything like that. Similarly, you look at things like the engine speed and the chance of fire, which can influence your choice of equipment. It's also the type of vehicle. You know, a light tank tends to be fast moving. It tends to have, well, it can be played 2 ways. You can either hide in a bush, in which case you set it up as a passive scout, so maybe binos and camo net is a good option for you, or you tend to be more active scout, where you are running around the battlefield, in which case coated optics. At the end of the day, a scout's role is to spot, so anything that helps its visibility has got to be a good thing. So your chances are you're going to put some sort of visibility equipment on this vehicle. The other thing to do is look and see what people advise. So a good source of reference is the Wargaming wiki, and they have pretty much every tank. So they will talk you through the history of the tank, what the equipment's like, that's, you know, the modules on it, so forth. What kind of equipment and consumables you can use on this vehicle. It'll also give you an idea about what other players think of it. So in this case, the RU251, it's a very fast tank, high damage per minute, which is great, fast aim time and good dispersion values. Yeah, you can tell that from the gun. Fires HE shells, high HE penetration, and the best armor piercing penetration of all tier 8 light tanks, which is great. Bad things about it: very thin armor, means you can be pretty much wrecked by HE firers. It's quite a big tank, and the shell velocity is not great. Gun depression isn't brilliant either. So suggested equipment they have here is a rammer, vertical stabilizers, coated optics and vents. Obviously you can only take 3 of those, so your choice. Other thing to do is go and have a look on YouTube, have a look at videos, see what people have put videos up, have a look at, there's certain people who do videos, I like the style they play. It's a bit similar to mine in some ways, and so I follow theirs particularly. But they'll all give you an idea about what they play, so have a look at some videos before you spend all that credits on it. Other thing, go on the World of Tanks forums, and there's loads of forums out there. There's loads of, if you just put the tank you're interested in, World of Tanks, into Google, or other search engines are available, and see what comes up. Here there's a discussion here about what's the best equipment to have. Again, they all seem to have come down to vertical stabilizers, coated optics, rammer and ventilations as the 4 main options that people have gone for. So, you know, do your research, have a look, gut feel, and then choose if you've got the money to do it. So in my case, I'm going to take rammer, and you can see it says it's a complex equipment. To demount or replace it with another item will cause this equipment to be destroyed, or you can dismount it for the cost of gold, and it's 10 gold basically. So I'm going to load that in, and that will have improved my rate of fire immediately. My second slot, I'm going to take vertical stabilizers, because I think from what I've seen of this tank, you often fire on the move and you often are circling enemies, and the ability to acquire them quickly, that extra 20% aim time, has got to be a good thing. So I'm going to buy that. Again, the warning that this is complex equipment, so it can't really be removed. And the third slot, I'm going to go for optics. Again, I think I do tend to play passive at the beginning of the game, but I just think the ability to spot longer ranges with this is on the move is a better option. So again, complex equipment, so that has to go there as well. So now we've got equipment loaded. Now, just to show you, if I wanted to remove them, so if I wanted to take the rammer off, I've got 2 options. I can do demount or destroy, and those are my 2 options. So we've got equipment, we've got shells loaded. One other thing we're missing, crew. So obviously I took the option not to take any extra crew, mainly because I've got loads of crew sitting in my barracks that are doing nothing. Let's have a look at the Germans alone. There you go. That's all the spare crew I've got. So what I am probably going to do, however, is take my crew out of this tank. It's an all-lady crew. No jokes, please. Click send to barracks. I think, if I remember rightly, I have an extra lady somewhere. I think she's in the Lux. There she is. So I'm sending her to the barracks. I go back to my RU251, and I'm going to click here. There's the Spic commander there. Put her on board. There's the Spic gunner. There's the Spic driver, and there's the Lux loader. The reason why I wanted all women is because these were acquired through the missions, so they're a special crew. You start off with Sisterhood of Steel, which is equivalent of Brothers at Arms, which helps when they're all together, and the whole crew is all women. Here you get extra, I can't remember what exactly you get. Let me have a quick look. There you go. It's the effect of having improved ventilation, extra combat rations, or chocolate, blah blah blah, all together. So that's basically 5% for the improved vents and 10% for the others. So automatically they are getting, because they're all together and they all have Sisterhood, they get plus 15% to their skills. So there you go. So they're all loaded. Now you'll notice this is a light tank. They came from a light tank, all of them. So while they're not trained for this vehicle, their 100% ability is dropped to 80 and 88% here, so that's in red. Now if I was to put let's put the Hummel driver in, because he is from a self-propelled Hummel loader, sorry, because he's self-propelled gun crew, he's not used to being in a light tank, and his skills dropped from 100% to 58%. So that's kind of important. So we'll put our lady back in there. There we go. So I now have an option. I really want to retrain them, so I will click on here and click the retrain button. Again, much like we had when we were looking to buy the crew at the beginning, you've got three options here. You can spend gold to basically train them up to, or retaining their 100% training that they had before. So everything they had before will be transferred, and they'll run as efficiently on this new tank as they did on their previous one. But it will cost you 200 gold per crew member. Other option is to take regimental training, which will cost you 20,000 credits per crew member, but they'll drop from 100 to 90% crew. The other one is a free option, is they'll drop to 80% crew. So there you go. Again, you will find every so often, particularly at weekends, well, it is always at weekends, every so often Wargaming will do some special where retraining of crew is half price. And if you are buying a new tank and you can wait, it's a good idea to hold on until you wait until the next time when they're doing this at 50%. You'll save yourself a lot of gold. So for me, I'm going to take the 100% option. It's going to cost me 800 gold. Obviously, if it was a half price time, it would only be 400. So I click that, and you can see they've suddenly gone back to their true rating. 105 for the commander. It's always slightly less than the rest of the crew, because she gives a benefit to the rest of the crew, because she's a commander, and the rest of them are all at 116%. So they are really effective crew now, and they also have brothers. They also have sisters of steel, equivalent to brothers in arms. This crew, sixth sense and situational awareness on the commander, snapshot and camo. So we'll talk about crew skills another day, but that's basically the crew loaded on. So we're almost there, aren't we? Other option you can do with the new tank is camo. So you have here on this screen the ability to put camouflage on your vehicles. Again, it will cost you credits or gold depending on what you do. You'd see down here you have three options. You have an option to put it on permanently, or put it on for 30 days or 7 days. If you put camo on permanently, it will cost you 200 gold. And again, you can watch out for the sales. They do this on a fairly regular basis. They'll do some sort of half price sale, so watch out for reductions on camo days. The other option is to do it as 30-day only, but that will cost you 80,000 credits, which is quite a lot. Or 7 days, 20,000 credits. Now the other thing to realise is that, so I'm going to choose that option for this tank. You can have a look at what they look like before you purchase. So I chose that one. You also have to be aware that that's only for the winter season. So for this tank, all tanks, there are 3 different seasons that you can be fighting in. There's winter. There's this one, which is what's this one? Summer. What's this? Autumn? I forget. Yeah, summer. There you go. So there's summer, winter, and autumn, and you need to put camo on for each of them. So yeah, thanks for that, Wargaming. So there's all different options again, exactly the same. So I'm going to go. Don't like look at that one. Look at that one. Okay. No. Doesn't really matter, Tom, does it? Yeah, it does. Oh, that one's nice. We're going to go with that one. Okay, so we're going with that one. And then we have to choose autumn, and autumn, yeah, it's nice enough, that one. So there we go, we've got autumn sorted out. and you can see each of them gives 3% camo value in those seasons, but it is going to cost me 600 gold. So we'll click yes, purchase. There are other options here. At the moment they don't. This is for emblems, so you can change the German symbol for your national flag if you like, or various other options here. Yeah, city ones here, blah de blah de blah. There's a little. There you go. Oh, that's what's that? Kharkov, coat of arms of Kharkov. Then there are things like these emblems. So there's all sorts of different emblems you can put on here. Currently, they give you absolutely no bonus at all. People tend to do it just because I don't know why they do it. I've done a couple of tanks. It's mainly because the tanks I particularly like, and I just want to personalise them in some way. Generally, at the moment they give you absolutely nothing. There is a suggestion that Wargaming will at some point put bonuses to crew attached to these. They thought about bringing it out in the last patch, and there was such an outcry because they hadn't really worked it out properly in terms of, you know, what happens if you've already got insignia on there, blah blah blah, that they withdrew that. At some point, however, and clearly it's still here in the game as an option, at some point they will be bringing this in, so some of these insignia will improve the skills of certain crew members over others. So we're not going to bother with that because it's pointless. The other, just for, oops, sorry, I've come out now. The other thing for completeness, just so you can see it, is inscriptions. Similarly, you can put various things on a vehicle if you want to. Now these are already saying it. If you see on this, it's called Fat Hands, is this one. It will offer some kind of bonus to the radio operator. At the moment it's 0, but in time it will. Again, you can put these on your vehicle if you want to, and it's just a way of, I guess, personalising the vehicle, making it look a bit fun. There you go, it's got Asgard written on the front. You've got 2 slots for this vehicle, so we can put the same thing again, or we could do something different. There you go. I'm not going to bother, but there you go. So that is our tank, fully equipped, crew loaded in, and equipment and consumables loaded. There you go. That's how you do it. And we're ready to rock and roll and go out on the battlefield and see what we can do with this new vehicle. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. This is Gamer Dom. And say it was really designed just as a quick how to do it video for those that aren't that experienced and don't understand these things. Hope it was useful for you. If it was, please consider giving me a like and maybe subscribe to some more videos. And you know, if people found it helpful, please let me know, and you know, let me know if there's anything else that I can do in terms of videos. I'm thinking I'll do something on crew skills, and I may well do something more on the actual equipments. Yeah, let me know if there's anything else that you think might be useful to know. This has been Gamer Dom. Thanks for watching. Enjoy yourselves. Have fun. Be careful out there. And remember, it's just a game. Cheers for now.